Wait a minute.
Starting it?
No, I'm gonna just switch the car back for the video.
Okay. Are you lost, sir?
I try to take the e-brake out. Should be out.
What kind of weird drift car is this?
It's got the electric e-brake, so
Yeah.
not sure what I'm doing.
Hi, Di.
Hi.
What's going on?
I just done my first session, and it was actually too cold. Still, the road temp is too cold, so I couldn't get the heat in the tire. And you know, I only have one chance, so I still did the same time as yesterday, but driving-wise, much better. But just couldn't feel the grip yet.
That's your Pike Speed car.
It is gonna be the Pike Speed car.
That
Yeah.
is your Pike Speed car. But so what I'm featuring is I'm featuring this car,
Oh.
and you've driven this car.
Yeah.
You're born to drive this car too.
Yeah. I did Thunder Hill.
Yeah, you won.
Oh yeah, I won.
Yeah.
That's what you
guys
mean.
won. Cool. Yeah, I want to feature this.
Oh, not
There's
this
over
car?
there. I already featured this car.
I know.
Can't feature a car twice.
True.
Sometimes I can.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Aaron Wang here.
Hi.
We got this beautiful Civic. We're at Super Lap Battle at Circuit of the Americas, COTA, here in Austin, Texas. Last year I came here, I did a feature on a Spoon Accord and it did really well. That car is still here now,
Yeah.
but I figured, you know what, let's keep the Spoon cars going and we'll feature this Civic Type R.
Yeah.
What's the story behind this car?
A lot of people might know that this is the 25-hour Thunder Hill car. We raced that early January. We won our class. That was a pretty nice accomplishment, and we wanted people to kind of get a chance to look at the car, and it's nice to see it running instead of just parked at a car show. So we decided to do this event in Texas, where we're just pounding laps.
You guys had quite the driver lineup
Yeah,
here.
we did, right?
Di and each son, right?
Well, Tarzan.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you cannot discount Tarzan
Yeah, he was a hot shoe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a really good lineup of drivers. So this car, basically we just washed it. That's it. We didn't do anything. These are even the tires from Thunder Hill, the used tires. We didn't even change tires because we're just practicing right now. And then Di's running the Model 3, so I'm just switching back and forth with him when he's busy with that.
We are, practicing the Thunder Hill this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Damn, Di.
Oh man.
Dancing over here. Yeah. Bye, Aaron.
Bye. Drive safe.
What did I say?
And yeah, we just wanted people to be able to get an up close and personal look at this car and then see it running. And then, there's a lot of fans out here, so it's a nice event.
For those of you guys who don't know, 25 hours of Thunderhill, I think is the longest endurance race.
Yeah, by an hour, right?
By an hour. So traditionally, most endurance races are 24 hours. I've been to every single 24-hour sports car race in the world. And then the 25-hour, you think 1 hour is not that much more difference, but I can't tell you how many races I've been to at the 25-hour where they break, the cars break at the last hour.
Yeah, we have friends who literally broke the last hour, but they still finished because everybody else died. Right before them, they were just the second to last people to drop out. So you can still finish podium if you do more laps than the next person. So it's a grueling event, and the reason why it's a little bit more difficult is because it's in December. So it's really cold. It's sometimes snow, rain, all that stuff. So the conditions are a little tougher than other races because of the weather and the time of the year.
With that said, this is not a time attack vehicle at all. This is built to have endurance racing in its blood. It's built to drive 25 hours and more.
Exactly.
So why did you bring it out here just as an exhibition?
Well, yeah, like I said, it's basically just exhibition. Obviously, it could do fairly decent laps, but instead of doing a car show where people could see the car, we wanted to have an event where we can run it. And there's a lot of people out here, a lot of fans, so we thought it'd be a great opportunity to let people see it running. So
can we take a look at the engine bay?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, go ahead. Do you have to run any restrictors or anything when you're running 25 hours?
No, so we don't, because it's a power to weight ratio for the class. So we're E0 class. There's a certain calculation with what kind of transmission you have, what kind of tires, the size, and then you get this formula where it tells you how much horsepower you can produce. And then basically we just tune the car to meet that horsepower level, and that's where we lie in our class.
So did you guys run into a lot of problems when you're out there at 25 hours?
No, we didn't, because the car doesn't need it. It didn't need that much power because the car weighs quite a bit. So we're very close to stock power levels. And then because of that, it's really reliable. We're basically only a little bit more horsepower than stock, and that's what we don't have to worry about anything.
Were you guys competing against Daniel Wu in that other car?
He was in E1 class, so he was in one class below us. And then I actually think he ran into a few more problems because they had to detune the motor even more to meet that class. And the cars don't like to be detuned too much because they're like basically out of breath, because all you could do is turn the turbo down and reduce fuel, air, everything. So they actually like to run, medium range and get pushed a little bit.
Interesting. Okay, so what are we looking at here? What have you done on your side to make it a race car versus a stock street car?
Well, engine-wise, it's fairly stock, but for this event, we have a spoon turbo in there. But for the Thunderhill, we had a stock turbo because we didn't need all that power. And then basically cooling and heating, that's critical. So we have, heat shielding on the turbos. These are all custom heat shields. This is a prototype spoon air guide just to get cooler air into the intake. We have like a overflow tank just for reliability because a stock plastic one might crack. But the main thing is, it's hard to see, but we have, huge intercooler, transmission cooler, 2 oil coolers, and obviously a spoon radiator. So cooling is key to efficiency. So and then we have obviously brake ducting and all that stuff. That's, as far as performance, that's the biggest change. And everything else is safety and setup. Setup is important because we have 7 drivers. So the car has to be really, really easy to drive. And everybody has to just be able to jump in it and do a solid time and just be comfortable.
And you guys are running KWs?
Of course, we have KW, 3-way coilovers, pretty much amazing. Didn't have a single problem, wide range of adjustability, amazing.
Spoon cars, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not all about all-out horsepower, it's balance, and it's reliability, and there's a cleanliness to it. It's just so cool to see all the race cars come out of Spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is exactly what you kind of went with
So
this.
the whole philosophy for Spoon is fun in driving. Like, you know, we want to make the car reliable and fun. And when it's fun and it's easy to drive, it's quick. We're not out here to build the all-out fastest car. We're out here to make a really fun, reliable, and a car you can drive like all the time. That's why we do endurance racing. It's because we have to build the cars to be easy to drive. When they're easy to drive, they're fun. So that kind of translates.
So in this trim with the Spoon turbo, how much power does this make?
Right now it's making just over 400 horsepower. At Thunder Hill we were making about 300. So it's got a lot more power than we had back then in that race. It's still running pretty good, but when it gets really hot, the temps do rise, but everything is pretty much perfect right now.
Can we talk about the wheel and tire package?
Yeah.
There's nothing like the Spoon wheel. It's just so simple, and it's just matte black, but it looks so sinister.
It's
it looks so
Spoon
good.
SW wheel, matte black, 5 spokes. Came out in the 90s. We reintroduced it a few years ago. Obviously, Yokohama Advan AO52 tires, which is the same tire we ran at Thunderhill. And like I said earlier, these are the tires from Thunderhill because we didn't go through all the wear, so we had a lot of leftover tires, and we figured we'd just use them for practice the first couple sessions. And we have some new ones later on for Dai to get in and do some hot laps.
Off the top of your head, how many AO52s did you guys go through, you think?
Off the top of my head, at least 30.
30?
Yeah.
That's a lot of AO52s.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's more than one an hour.
Yeah, it was not easy to get that many. We planned really far ahead because I don't know, most people don't know this, but there is a tire shortage of especially this size. So we literally were scouring everywhere to try to accumulate 1 tire, 2 tire, 4 tires, just all over, and just, as many as we could. And even testing, we had to be really, really stingy on tires just because we don't know how many tires we're going to run through at 25 hours.
So tell me about, what is this? This is just, so it is like an extension or something?
Here, I'll show you on this wheel. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it keeps the lug nuts in the wheel.
Got it.
So
okay, so this saves some time when you're actually doing...
because you just put the wheel on, the lug nuts already there, just pound them all in, and then when you take the wheel off, you don't have to worry about lug nuts.
Got it. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
what a really neat feature. And you could run these on street cars too then, huh?
You actually can't because they're specific to the wheel, to the lug nut, and to the stud, and we have custom studs because the length has to be correct for it to catch the threads.
Got it.
They're very custom, so they're not a very universal item you can do. Like, you have to have the exact package, and also you have to replace them pretty much every time we use them because with the heat it melts them and it gets stuck. They're not reliable. It's almost a one-time use only, so every time we take the wheels off, remount the tire, we have to put new ones on. So it's not very practical for a street application.
But just to save that time.
Oh yeah, for racing, you just have to go through the hassle of it just to save seconds, minutes in the pit stop.
Can we talk about the lighting?
Yeah. So of course, 25 hours. Any endurance race in the night, lighting is super important. So we have some Baja design lights. These are what we call apex lights. So they point outwards towards the apex and have a wide, broad range. So we could pretty much see like 90 degrees out from the side of us. The yellow, it cuts through the fog, weather, and all that stuff. It's straight.
I'm surprised you guys. Did you have a big light bar?
We didn't need
forward?
it.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
need it.
because these are so bright. These are off-road. You have them on your truck,
Yeah,
They're
I have the
off-road
same
lights.
ones on my Tundra.
Yeah,
The
so
exact same ones.
you know how bright they are. You don't need them. Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
and we're actually not allowed to run light bars now.
Oh.
That's a new rule where you can only have lights in this corner of the car. I think you can pretty much face them in any direction, but they have to be only in this corner.
Yeah.
People were mounting giant light bars on their hoods, and then it would blind other drivers.
Right.
So
I remember, like when I was following the Acura team.
Yeah, they had them.
Yeah, they had a huge light bar, but then if you look at their back window, it was completely covered in tape because it was
from the other drivers.
from the other drivers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I think, I mean, it obviously helps, but if everyone doesn't have them, then you don't need to. You don't need to worry about them.
So, can you tell me about the brake package too?
So these are slightly modified stock calipers. They have some rubber seals in them. We rip all that out. We just basically race prep the stock caliper, which actually worked really well. This is a Paragon rotor, which were amazing, endless custom pads, and I think it was a pretty big accomplishment that we went through only 50% of our pads through the whole Thunderhill, the 25 hours. So we theoretically could have not serviced the car and ran another 25 hours. There was still plenty of brake pad left. We were really efficient, and we were only using, maybe like 30% brake pressure the whole time, just because we were doing the times we needed without having to push the car. So we were kind of on conservation mode most of the race, and that's why we were, using less tires than we accounted for, less fuel, less brake, less everything, and then the car was more reliable. And we were just fortunate we didn't have any issues during the race, so we didn't have to push to try to catch up to anyone. People were trying to, catch up to us, so we were able to just run our own pace, and everyone's running a set time. Our drivers are all amazing. Nobody went off course. Nobody, hurt the car. So that's how we were able to achieve the win.
So in terms of aero, how much are you actually allowed to do for endurance racing?
There's certain restrictions where the wing has to be a certain width, height, all that stuff. But this is like full without any trim on the wing. So it's the least amount of downforce we could get. We don't have a big front splitter because there are rules to the length of the splitter. So this wing isn't doing much. It's pretty much just for high-speed stability. Of course, it provides a little bit of downforce, but for that kind of a race, we don't really need that much downforce. We just, it's basically here just to showcase the whole Spoon package, and this is the whole look of the car.
Yeah. Spoon race car, super clean.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. I can't believe how clean all of this is. So did you guys actually build this in the US or?
Yeah, so the car was 100% built in the US. Chris Eimer from Eimer Engineering did most of the fabrication. We had guys from Japan that came over to assist. We basically built this just for Thunderhill. And then the most unique thing about this interior, I guess, would be the cage. It was done by Rob Parsons, chair slayer.
Oh yeah, of course, Rob.
Yeah. Of course, he does a lot of drift cages, and it's just so cool that he came, scanned the car, built this in CAD, and then shipped it to us. And the biggest thing is you notice that the cage is welded to the body. There's no gussets.
Whoa!
It's so close if you just kind of follow the cage. So it's stitched to the chassis of the car.
So does this mean that since this is scanned, anyone with this a Civic Type R can get this cage?
They can get this cage, but this is built specifically for us because we have possible future plans for the car. So someone else might not want this configuration, but he can configure it fairly easily.
Got it. Okay.
And he could possibly build a kit
because
for
he
it.
could build it out in 3D.
Yeah, he could just move a couple tubes here and there, and then make it a like
it's
a street
crazy how
like for
close.
example, if you see the door, most people aren't going to want to do that to their door.
Right. It's probably so close.
It's pretty. It's like halfway in the door.
Yeah.
So
this is really neat too.
That's an HPD part.
Whoa! What a cool.
It just makes it a little cleaner, right?
Yeah, it's very clean. But,
so the cage is super cool because it's all just like stitched like to every to the chassis, so you don't have to run any gussets, and it's way more stiff like this.
I love it. I love the difference. You look at something like this versus the Accord. It's just a different generation.
For sure, that was 20 years ago. People weren't using technology to build these kind of things. They were just guys in the shop with a pipe bender and a welder. So we've advanced so much in the build of race cars these days. And
incredible.
Yeah, other stuff is we have a Quave sequential. One of the biggest Achilles heel of the FK8 in general is the transmission. Even if you kind of reinforce the gears, it still doesn't hold up that well. So Quave sequential, just to make sure we finish the race and not have to worry about that part of the drivetrain. Stock dash. We have a Hondata Flash Pro to run our engine management. We have a Motec dash just for telemetry, lap timing, data collection, a Spoon steering wheel. We're running a Sparco seat instead of a Spoon seat because we require a halo protection, and the Spoon seat doesn't have that. Sparco harnesses, Sparco fire suppression, anti-gravity battery.
Yeah,
you know.
so this is like only 3 pounds, huh?
That thing is amazing.
It's so light.
Yeah, like when you're diagnosing problems with the car, you're just running the batteries or running, you know, you're not running the car, and it just never has a problem. And then even if it does, it has that restart thing where you just push the button and, you know, it comes back to life and you can just charge it back up. That thing is really cool.
Oh, this also has
We have Air Jacks.
Air Jacks.
Yeah, we have Air Jacks. So we're not allowed to use them in pit lane at 25 hours, but we are able to use them in the pits. So it's just for ease of serviceability. And you know, when you're building a chassis, you kind of have to do it when it's a bare frame. You can't do it later. So we figured, why not put it in? Even if we don't use them, at least we have them. Like for example, this event, it's been really handy just because we don't even have to bring a jack.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
That's really cool. It's just so clean. It's crazy also how much room is back there.
Yeah, I mean, we have the carbon roof too.
There's so much room. Okay, so this is carbon.
Yeah.
And is the hatch carbon?
Yeah,
too?
the trunk is carbon, the hood is carbon. Pretty much everything else is stock except the front rear bumpers are spoon bumpers. We have a big fuel cell in there. Thunderhill or NASA regulations has some interesting things where you have to, theoretically that's a firewall that's on the fuel tank.
Got it.
Even like the fuel filler tube has to have a wall between it. So it's a little bit different than some cars where you look at them and you can see the fuel cell, right? So
and you have to have a defroster.
we don't actually.
Oh, you don't?
That was something that we just decided to do just because there's no moving parts, you know? It's kind of tedious to install, but it works really well and it doesn't get in the way. You don't really notice it.
You don't notice it.
Yeah, because it's so cold. It's so cold at Thunderhill. Most people do need a defroster.
So how much more weight do you think you took out on this car versus stock? You probably added it back in with a cage and air jacks.
Yeah, I think we're around 400 something pounds lighter than stock. So it's a good amount lighter. The cage is, I mean, it's chromoly, so it's not super heavy, but that's probably the only thing that we added weight back in. So it's a good amount weight.
So 400 off from stock. What does that make it then?
Yeah, we're right around 2,700 pounds. Maybe like between. It depends on fuel, obviously. It's right around between 27 and 2,750. I believe stock is 32 or just below that, 31 something. Yeah, so roughly 400 pounds.
This is so cool. And then now the new Civic is coming out, right? So you're
we're gonna get on it as soon as we can. This is gonna continue its like victory tour, I guess. We'll send it across the nation, maybe around the world, and just so people can check it out. And then on to the new one. Yeah.
So cool. Love it. There's just something so special about this livery too. It's just so good looking.
Yeah.
Again, simple. Just 2 colors.
But I don't know if you noticed, this is slightly different than the traditional one. The colors are the same.
Right.
But we call this like a digital splash.
Got it.
The original one we call it a cut splash because it looks like cut lines.
Yeah.
The second generation that we ran on some of our other cars was like a splash. And this is like a digital splash. It looked like more like water. The second one, this is more like a
this.
straight line. So it's a little bit different than we debuted it on this car.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for showing us this
welcome.
car. Good luck. I know you and Dai are going to put down some awesome lap times in this.
Yeah, we're switching off. So of course Dai's going to be way faster, but I'm here to set up the car and help him out.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.